Hello everybody, Eric, HWC Automotive with another episode of You Never Know we'll be working on next. Say hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Alright, what we got in the shop today, kind of hard to see, but it is a 1950 Allard J2. Little background, made in London, England, technically a kit car of London, England. 27 of the J2 body styles are made. They actually come up here. There's the VIN plate. You can see that it says Allard J2. What makes this one so special, we'll go a little brief history. We actually learned the history from the original owner who has passed away since. This came with a flathead Ford engine from the factory. Made it one race, suffered oiling problems, seized the motor. Owner put a 331 Cadillac engine in it in 1950. That suffered oiling problems, the motor seized up for the second race. So in 1951, he put in what back then, the new revolutionary Dodge 331 Hemi. And that's what we got in it now. And as far as we know, this is the only one documented in the world with a 331 Hemi. Came in, it was running poorly, had a bad tick, and we got it investigating and going through it to figure out what's going on with it. So we'll have Doug explain what we found when we started investigating the poor running and the tick.
Okay, so upon inspection, I was rolling it over, checking all the clearances, found the tick, which was number 8 here. There was about a 1/4 inch travel between the push rod and the rocker arm. Pulled the push rod out and the whole tip of it was worn off due to lack of oil or that's the one where the lifter collapsed too. And
it did have hydraulic flat tappet lifters, correct?
Hydraulic lifters, and we were under the conclusion of 2 things. They didn't run the zinc oil in it, and upon further investigation, after we got our valve kit, we saw how tight the valve springs were. They were very, very strong, stronger than what
we think. They're like 160, 170 pound springs, which are way overdone for this engine.
It was way too tight, and it actually caused more damage. The push rods actually bent from the tight springs, and then the lifters all got flat spotted.
Yeah, you can kind of see them. It's hard to see with the camera, but you can see the uneven wear marks. Yeah. And we found 2 different types of lifters in this too, and we learned that when it collapsed the lifter, other people who worked on it just threw in what they had on the shelf.
Yeah, different push rods.
Different push rods, different lifters. So there was a lot of unfortunate damage. Then we'll give this company a little shout out. Hothead Hemis. We bought a roller cam kit from them. Only to realize as we started installing everything and there was a miscommunication, we needed custom push rods. This car is been basically dedicated to a show this weekend, September, I think 10th or 11th, at Stan Hewitt. It's the Montebello show. This is one of the highlighted cars. We could have custom push rods made, but we were at least 3 weeks out and several $100s. So Doug here, in his empathy and his genius in his brain, what did you do?
I made us push rods.
He made custom push rods. Kind of a brief description of how you did it.
Okay, this is one of the extra ones we had. Took the push rods, measured the length of the new roller lifter, which was approximately about 7/8 of an inch taller than the original lifters. That's usually what they are in most cases. Took the push rod, took my pipe cutter, cut off 7/8 of an inch. Then I removed the ends off of the push rod, like that was right here.
I can see this one here too.
And they're pressed in. So did a little machining and pressed them on with a press, and voila, we have short push rods.
We have custom push rods for a 331 Hemi.
And they work great, and they adjusted up just like normal ones would.
Yep, and some people don't know about this engine. We actually called local parts places and asked them about 331 Hemi. And I got one guy that told me they didn't make Hemis until the 426 in the 60s. Like, well, apparently you don't know in Hemis because that's the 2nd gen. This is a 1st gen. 331s, 334, 392 was considered a 1st gen Hemi. And the reason why it has adjustable push rods, I don't know if you can see in this, the rocker arms are actually held on by the head bolts. So the only way to take the rocker arms off is to remove the head bolts, which then you ruin the head gasket. So you have to have adjustable push rods You can take the rocker and slide it over out of the way a little bit, but you have to have adjustable push rod. Take the adjustment out, slide the rocker over, and pull the push rod out.
And you have to run them all the way down to remove the push rod.
Yeah, so you got to rotate the motor to the cams all the way at the bottom. Apparently, only the first gen Hemis have this adjustable push rod setup. So a lot of people don't know about them. Even the custom push rod place I called, younger guy answered the phone. He's like, I've never seen adjustable push rods. Let me ask the old guy. Oh yeah, that's a first gen Hemi thing. So we learned a lot on this engine. Is there anything else you want to add, Doug?
No, aircraft design. They started production these after World War II. They started developing these, and if you know aircraft engines, you can definitely see a resemblance to aircraft engine here, like the Allisons and the Rolls-Royce Merlins.
Yeah, there's definitely a little similarity there, being a first gen Hemi, and this is what they call the firepower.
Chrysler Firepower.
Chrysler Firepower. They use it in DeSoto and Dodges starting in the early 50s. And the Chrysler, the 300 A or B, whatever, the 300 series were that time period had them. And Imperials had this engine too. So this was a kind of a weird engine for the time period. It was still being developed.
Highly advanced.
Highly advanced for its time period, yes. All right, so that's what we got going on in the shop. A few other things. We got Burness over here for Mays Valley. We got a 48 Ford over there. We got a lot going on in the shop. So we'll pull the front cover off this car. You can kind of see the nose of it. But if you go on Google and you look up 1950 Allard J2 and you see a maroon Allard, just the same color, and you see it's got a hood scoop, and towards what would be the passenger side of this car or left side of this car, you'll see a hump in the hood. That is a hump for the generator bracket on this 331 Hemi. This is the only car documented with that hump in the hood. So if you got a moment, look it up. I did. I found 25 pictures and I think 15 of them were of this exact car because that hump was in the hood. So here, if you want to, here's a little backstory on this car. You can pause it here for a moment and read that, but that's the backstory on this car and what it went through. So yes, another interesting car here at HWC Automotive. So like, subscribe, keep an eye on us, because you never know what we'll be working on next. We'll talk to everybody later. Bye.